Hello creators and welcome to the seminar 4.5. This seminar is all about just animating all the steps that have been left animated until we carry on with the project. So you can just check in this time lapse how we animate everything, so when we continue you'll know exactly where we are. Great, we've done all of the steps here now. And we can actually, let's use the default values and go to the very beginning and see what our tutorial looks like.
Welcome to Escape from Babylon. Tap forward to start.
And this is what we did in the first seminar. If you didn't catch it, like everything in the intro and setup was done in the very first seminar. I recommend to take a look at that if you want to know how these animations are created and stuff like that.
In Escape from Babylon, you have escaped from captivity and have to flee the evil warlord who is coming after you. How many players?
Let's put 3 players since I want to see all the animations in the second loop.
3 players.
Or the third loop.
Welcome. Now shuffle the deck.
Very crude shuffle animation, does its job.
Deal each player 1 card.
3 player setup, so 3 cards.
Place the game board on the table. Place all the meeples in the space with the arrows.
Highlight the
Setup
arrows.
complete.
That's it.
Goal of the game is to reach the city of Susa by playing movement cards from your hand. Please note that the examples used in the tutorial might differ from what you have on your...
And this is the step that states that don't worry what's happening on the table, just follow the overall instructions.
Now,
it's very
let's
important
start
to
the
have
game.
in a tutorial.
First player, you're up.
First meeples.
In the game, you move your meeple on the track by playing the card in your hand. Now, lay the card on the table and move your meeple the correct amount.
Perfect, and this should hold and loop until the player is done. Yep.
Now discard the card you just played to a discard pile next to the board.
Oh, actually, I forgot. The discard pile was in a different direction in the first player's turn. So I would need to turn this since it doesn't look... it looks out of place when the discard pile is suddenly the other way around. Now, I didn't have the discard pile in the master steps that we created in the previous seminar, so that's probably the reason. Small things.
Now refill 1 card from the draw deck. This concludes your turn. Tap forward when you're ready. Second player, you're up. Note, meeples cannot share the same normal squares. If one ends up in the same square, it needs to go forward 1 step.
Perfect, and this can happen on the second player's turn,
Now,
not
play
on
a card and...
not on the first player's turn, so don't teach anything that isn't relevant. That can only happen in the second player's turn. I could ask a question that, did you end up in the same square as another meeple is? And then I wouldn't even have to teach that rule in the second turn if that didn't happen. But that rule is so small and trivial that it can be taught like that, so that's fine.
Move your meeple. Remember to discard the used card. Tap on the button if you want a full recap of the turn.
So
Otherwise, tap forward after you are done.
Let's not have a full recap right now. Let's go to the village.
Did you reach a village?
Let's say no.
Now refill 1 card from the draw deck. This concludes your turn. Tap forward
I don't
when
like
you're ready.
the discard pile is going sideways and upsides. Oh, different alignments. So let's fix that before we end up the stream today.
Last player, you're up.
And then the meeples.
Play your turn. Remember that you can't have 2 meeples in the same square. Tap on the button if you want a recap, otherwise tap forward.
Let's do a recap.
In the game, you move your meeple on... Now, lay the card on the table and move your meeple
Now
the
it
correct
should
amount.
ask about the villages.
Now discard the card you just played. Did you reach a village?
Which is great. The logic works as intended. Even though it uses the same path as the first player with those examples, it branched out to ask about the villages.
If you come to a village, you get an extra card. Draw it now.
Perfect.
Any number of meeples can occupy a village
And
space.
now you get that little bit of information, and it's such a short rule that you will remember it.
Now refill one card from the draw deck. This concludes your turn.
End of tutorial, and then it breaks away from the logic. I think the only place where I had the discard
First player
card
in the game. Now lay the card on the. Now discard the card you just played.
is here.
Now refill one card from the draw.
Here. So let's just very quickly fix these. Change and turn these so the guys are. I think I had them running like this in the previous steps. That does look kind of funny. Oh, that's good. And I needed to delete that one segment so it doesn't screw it up. There we go. And now the discard pile should be a bit that way. Let's say it's on the first grid line there, and the guys are running towards that. There we go. Now I could let's just turn this, and on the first grid line, there we go. Now I think everything is in sync.
Now discard the card you just played. Now refill one card from the draw deck. This concludes your...
Perfect. Now we have animated, caught up with the animations. It took this took an hour to animate almost all together, so not too bad. Next seminar we will continue with the round 2. Create a small play menu, so we'll have like 3 or 4 buttons for the players so they can remind themselves on different things of the game.